Welcome to Monarchist Minute. I'm your host, William Stout, here with Clements Magnolia. How are you
Eh,
tonight, Clements?
I'm
Yeah,
tired.
yeah, and it wasn't fair that work kept you over, but it happens.
Don't worry, I'm just waiting for my birthday when I get to work 8 hours, and the next day I'm working 9.5 hours.
Right, but I sent you something pretty nice in the mail. That's good.
Yeah,
I just hope it's in good condition when you finally open it.
that should be.
Anywho, we have an interesting topic tonight coming from one of our followers, Mr. Bennett GFC, where we will be talking about the old adage of absolute power corrupts absolutely. And we're going to be talking about this concept, this idea, and actually why we think it's flawed. Before we
No,
begin, is there any quick little tidbits we want to bring up, or do we just want to jump right in?
I don't really have anything.
I don't either. Other than Trump being an idiot, but I'm not going to go on that. Anywho, so this has been a saying that's been used since time immemorial, and it's honestly one of the biggest things that people use when arguing for democracy, against monarchy, against authoritarian governments in nature. But does it really have any merit? What do you think?
I mean, I personally fall back onto the idea that it is um, that power simply brings out the worst in people. Not that it inherently not that it inherently corrupts, but that it brings out the worst in people, and that it also, at least um, in most systems of governments, for those who wish to try and climb up the ladder, you have to be willing to do such things.
Right, and I agree with you, especially in an elective system of government where people voluntarily seek out power. I do think the adage is wrong
Yeah,
because, and I've always thought that, as the saying goes, it's not that power corrupts people, it's that power attracts the corrupt.
yeah,
But I also agree with what you're saying that the introduction of power makes some people more vulnerable to vice because it's a matter of accountability. People who are in power don't feel as accountable to themselves or anyone because they're in a position of authority. They can get away with it, they think.
yeah, exactly.
So, what are some ways you think we could do to help prevent this?
Um, mm,
Hmm. It's a tough question. But something I think that we as monarchists, we have to face because we're entrusting a lot of authority into the monarch. Think in the past when there was more of a balance between the church and state, in terms of the Catholic Church being able to excommunicate rulers and being able to sanction rulers heavily, there was more of a balance to enforce morality among rulers. But now that we're in a much more secular age, I don't think that's as easy.
honestly, yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that. There's no one who could really check their power in reality, other than the courts. But then again, the courts could always be simply packed with people who you like, or just not care.
The problem now is that the state is a too isolated entity within itself. The state is in our separation of the state from cultural, religious, and any other institution. We have basically made an institution, the most important institution, the governing institution, accountable to no one but itself.
Yeah.
And I hate to say this as an avowed supporter of separation between church and state, but this is possibly one of the biggest arguments against separation of church and state.
I'm gonna say it. There's no such thing as a separation of church and state. There is the separation of the state from the church, but there is no separation of church and state. It's impossible to separate the two. You cannot take religion out of. You can take the state out of religion, but you can't take the religion out of the state. It's not possible because people are inherently religious. Even if they're an atheist or an agnostic, they still have some sort of religious values that they still hold.
And they're gonna
It may be more of a non-theistical one, I guess is what the word I would say, but whatever. But still, you can't just remove it completely because the separation of church and state was never. Yeah, sorry, go on.
They'll take those values into the polls,
or the politicians take it with them to the legislature. And that's the thing. You can't just remove it from someone. It's not possible.
Everything. Yeah. Yeah, you said a person with no values. And a person with no values has no business in government.
Well, it's not the fact they have no values. They certainly do have values. Everyone has values. But it's just, what are those values?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's a weird, almost like null value.
Yeah.
Oh. Anywho, we really covered this topic rather quickly.
It's a rather simple topic, to be honest with you.
I know, but I thought we'd take more time and jabber on about it, but then again, our resident jabberer could not make it this evening, sadly.
Sadly.
So what else do we want to jabber on about? Takers, bids, anyone in the audience have anything they want us to talk about?
I mean, we didn't really go into the I'm sorry, I'm trying to eat a piece of chocolate while we're doing this right now.
It's fine. Well, we have a gentleman in the audience who would like to come up, and you think we can give him a go?
Yeah, of course.
Come on up, Mr. Tobit von Lud. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
It's a fake name anyways, but
Yeah.
we could always talk about the rampant petty power plays and disloyalty within various monarchist factions.
Oh, that sounds interesting. It's your topic, so if you want to go ahead and introduce the topic.
I guess I could start by giving a recent example. Just recently, I don't know if any of you have heard of the radical monarchist movement, but I kind of hung around.
Yes, we have.
Anyways, yeah, we were on their Discord for a little bit before eventually kind of just not bothering with them anymore. But recently, they had a whole coup and everything.
So yeah, so our resident, as you said, our resident rambler, George's or Watercube, he could not make it tonight, but he was there during when all that was happening, and he was basically regaling to me and Will here what was happening. We were like, that's crazy, honestly. And there's a reason why we kind of titularly say, oh yeah, we know who you are. That's about it. We know who you are, yeah.
It's like, part of the issue is, especially when it comes to new monarchism, many of us are on the younger side, and we tend to therefore be
ambitious.
I don't want to say fanatic, but
I wouldn't say it was. I wouldn't say ambitious. I would say more of they get a taste of power, and then it immediately goes to their head. They think, I
You know
have
what?
this power that I can use, and they really haven't grown up yet and realized, wait, what am I doing?
Yeah. You know
I'm
what?
supposed to be humble in my life, but no.
I was gonna be polite and try and beat around the bush and be delicate, but I'm not because there's no other way for me to put this. They're just immature. You
Yeah.
know, that's the
Agreed.
thing. They see, and to step into George's P's shoes a little bit and use something he would say, everyone wants to be the guy. That being the
He
center
did
of
say that, yeah.
that being the center of attention in the organization or in the movement and everything. And especially in these younger groups. I say that like I'm old. I'm not even 25. I turned 25 in June, but still older than most.
Yep.
But these gents, they all want to be the center of attention. They all want it to be about them and they to be in the center, front and center. But they have to realize it's not about them. It's about the ideas, the values, our goals. And our goals transcend our own personal interests. And that is also something we've had to deal with here in MOA, and thankfully we've overcome over time. Not without a severe amount of growing pains, though.
Literally, the original server getting nuked because of the fact that a bunch of do I even want to put it lightly?
No.
They don't watch this. It doesn't matter. A bunch of fascist lights. And when they all left, and fun fact, basically everyone who was a part of their group, let's see, who was even I think only two of them. No, one person from the original coup is even still on on their server and still has a high-ranking position, and that's it. Who was still part of our high-ranking ups here, because everyone else from theirs has already left because they just had disagreements over stuff. And now they have all completely left the monarchist movement, period, because of it.
Shameful, isn't it?
It really is, because some of them were really left. Were not really left, but were really nice and good people who did care. But sadly, due to the fact that they decided to align themselves with a group of people who have no real true support of monarchy within them, more of just their own personal demagoguery.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's sad to see, and there are some people in that crowd that I do actually miss. Like, you remember Bubba, don't you, Clements?
Yeah, of course I do.
Yeah, Bubba was a nice guy. He picked the wrong crowd. Like, I wish he would come back, because he didn't deserve to get dragged through all he got dragged through.
Well,
But, I don't know. If there's just anyone out there who went with them because they were lied to or, what's the word I'm looking for? Deceived. You can come back. Like,
yeah,
if you
like
promise.
unironically, like I know there's like some of them who we still have disagreements with, but we miss you. Y'all were really great. We would love to have y'all come back so we could, continue the movement.
Right. We try to keep it good and Christian. We give second chances, And some of y'all we do in fact trust. It's nothing personal, but yeah, come on.
I do find it rather funny though that their server is all intents and purposes dead.
Well, I'm not gonna sit here laughing and insult the dead horse because I'm better than that.
Yeah.
I'm not laughing. I'm just saying like, how ironic.
I guess I can also be thankful. Praise God, this really it hasn't been much of an issue in the UMP. My guys. I think that's in a great part to our leader, Austin Pomper. Great man.
Austin's cool. I like him.
I like Austin. I've known Austin for years.
Yeah, we're friends on Facebook.
It sounds kind of corny, but I really do consider him a mentor in my monarchism. Like, I vaguely remember coming to monarchism, but he really did shape my views on it. And, he's a very intelligent person with how he deals about it. I think sometimes he can be naive on certain topics, but he's managed the movement very well, and he's done a lot to keep it from fracturing into petty power plays.
There is an old guard in the monarchist movement, I've noticed, specifically of people in their early 30s or late 20s. John fits into this category too, where they were kind of just appeared into a sort of environment where there was no coordinated monarchist movement, and it was just more an intellectual concept. And I really feel these people carry the movement primarily because they don't treat the movement as a political means for an end. They treat it as an idea, and they understand it as a theoretical concept rather than just power. And and we have us young bloods who came in primarily because of political activism online and finding new ideologies out online.
Yeah.
And we came into our own during the 2020s and afterwards. And that really, really, I want to say it poisoned us just because of all the contention.
Yeah.
And I feel like these old bloods are needed in order to help balance us out, to keep us grounded and help us to grow and mature.
Yeah.
You're 100% right. It kind of almost reminds me of the faith, like Christianity. We have our elders. They don't really provide much energy anymore, but they provide the wisdom that steadies the hand of the youth, the energetic youth. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, let's not forget that today is the anniversary of the assassination of Julius Caesar.
Indeed. The Ides have come.
Sad, sad. It's even raining today. How mournful.
Well, for you, it's raining.
Yeah, it's raining here too.
It's usually wet in Ohio this time of year, although this is our first big rain. We actually got a thunderstorm today.
Yeah, my state had a tornado last night.
Wait, what state are you in, if you don't mind me asking?
I am, I believe, the only active monarchist in the whole state of Missouri.
So how warm is it in Missouri right now? Because you're a bit further south.
It was in the 40s today. There were some areas that it's gotten snow though.
It was in the 70s today in North Carolina. Of course,
Well,
I also live in coastal North Carolina, so.
That's where it was in Ohio yesterday. I actually took the time to take a whole 2-hour walk around my neighborhood. It was rather lovely. I desperately needed to get outside after this very long winter. We've had actually a pretty cold and snowy winter this year. This is the biggest winter we've had in a while.
It really was. I mean, like what, 2 blizzards down here?
Actually, yeah, it snowed here for once, and then we had another like icing that happened.
Yeah, it was cold this winter.
I'm looking forward to it because usually the bugs are real bad if we don't have a good winter up here in Ohio. So,
Tell me about it.
yeah, I doubt you don't. Being in Missouri, you know about the bugs.
Oh gosh, I'm also the favorite target of the mosquitoes. I got that tasty O blood.
Oh.
Oh yeah. My family is not too bad because we all have AB. I actually my parents have AB, but me and my sister don't actually know what our blood type is.
Isn't it like genetic or something? Or is it just at random?
Well, it is genetic, but the thing is, AB blood, you could get either A, B, or AB blood.
Mm.
You know, come to think of it, I don't know my blood type. I should probably figure that out because that's something you need to have on you at all times.
Yeah, I should probably get that tattooed on me in case I'm ever in a car crash.
Oh, that reminds me of something. Have you? Okay, are you on Reddit by chance?
Me?
Yeah.
I have a Reddit account, but I hardly ever use it.
Well, there's a subreddit called Two Sentence Horror, and the idea is you have to make an absolutely terrifying statement in 2 sentences. And so while we were talking about the tattoo, that reminded me of something. One of those statements one time was someone talking about how he got his initials put on a bracelet he was wearing, and his initials were like something like David Nathan Richards or something, and said probably not a good idea to be wearing that during a
yeah,
car.
Oh no!
yeah, yeah. You're probably not.
Mm. Yeah, it's like that would be terrifying.
Hey, Vsauce, Michael here. When will you die?
Oh, I know a scary one. I don't know if it's 2 sentences or just one, but depart from me, I never knew you.
That is, yeah, that is.
Ronald Reagan said that the scariest words in English were, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. He never read the Bible.
Yeah.
I mean, I can think of something scarier, but you know what? No, never mind. There isn't anything scarier.
Yeah, I've been getting into a lot of arguments with libertarians recently, and I'm like,
Oh.
ugh. And I've learned more and more that I do not like libertarianism.
I know.
I saw a libertarian post earlier talking about how both the Allies and the Axis were evil because they used conscription, and that had to be the most brain dead
We don't
thing
care
ever.
what the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire says. They're all retarded.
It wasn't even the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire. It was like just some libertarian
Oh,
meme account.
sorry. I know you're not retarded. What are you, Down syndrome?
That's unfair to people who have.
That's a Norm Macdonald quote right there. Love that guy.
It's just, it just amazes me, you know, the whole idea behind like libertarians and that concept remind me of how socialists also were during World War II. For those of you that don't know, American socialists actively protested the U.S. getting involved in World War II because it was the evil bourgeoisie capitalists wanting to start a war. Hitler hasn't done anything to us. Nah, 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 nah.
I'm shocked Stalin didn't say like, what are you doing? We need them in the war so they can help us kill more of the Germans.
Of course, they flipped the switch as soon as Barbarossa happened, but
Our goal is to kill every German.
me, I'm a simple man. The side that was actively putting people in camps and gassing them is obviously the evil side. I'm not going to argue that the Allies didn't do some messed up things, but clearly, there is a moral extreme here.
When you have to lie to the Red Cross by showing them a fake camp, you lose all sympathy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, and then there's the brain dads on Twitter. The firebombing of Dresden.
I actually.
Do you? I want to. So, actually, you want to? Are we talking about the same thing here? The time that you were almost that. No. This is why I'm the vice chancellor. And you're not anymore.
Job.
Yeah, you used to be the vice chancellor.
But I actively stood up against the whole firebombing at Dresden with the MOA official account, and I got demoted because of the backlash.
Yeah,
that was.
Hey, it ended well for me. So, although I don't really know if we could really say that because we did lose like one of our best members because of it.
I forget which one that was.
Victor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I miss him.
I miss him
I hope
too.
he comes back.
Yeah.
But anywho, what I was gonna say was, to this day, I did say I was sorry, but I never said I was wrong.
So wait, what did you say on Twitter that caused the backlash?
I said, Dresden
Basically,
was
it
not a
wasn't a war
war
crime.
crime. It was a valid military target. The rail lines that ran through it made it a valid military target, as it was a major junction for supplying the Eastern Front. And that, as horrific as it was well within the parameters of precision bombing during World War II. It wasn't any less horrific than any of the other air raids that occurred during World War II.
Yeah.
Hell, it's probably more of a military target than Hiroshima or Nagasaki. And they were still valid military targets 100%.
Well, if I recall, Hiroshima and Nagasaki were the two largest remaining ports in the
And
Japanese.
steel mills and whatnot.
Yeah. That had yet to be like really bombed. Although, if you ask certain Catholics, they'll say it was actually a conspiracy by the Freemasons and President Truman to destroy the Catholic Church in Japan.
Yes.
love you.
Yes.
Yeah, no, as a Missourian, that one really gets my goat going.
Trust
If
me.
that, I don't ever want to say that's what did Truman say about Oppenheimer again?
I don't
ever want to see that crybaby in my office again.
I never want to say that crybaby in my office again.
My great-grandfather was on the U.S. Indianapolis when it went down, so that was my family's contribution to the Manhattan Project. So every time the issue of the atomic bombings be a war crime, I just firmly stay in there and I say, well, that means my great-granddaddy is proudly an accessory to a war crime, and I'll gladly wear that badge of honor.
What are you, a Serb now?
I was thinking the same thing.
My great-granddad is a war criminal, and none of you have the balls to send him to court.
My great-grandpa took a picture on a captured German railgun before he burnt it down with thermite.
I didn't have any. My great-grandfather didn't really do anything during World War II, even though he was in Germany. He kind of just, because he was too old to serve in the army, and he had children already. Although he was thrown in a Soviet camp, a Soviet prison in Germany after World War II because he was of aristocracy.
That's stupid.
Yeah, and then they stole all 6 or 7 of our castles. And when the wall, and they were all in Saxony, so when the wall finally came down and Germany reunified, my great uncle had to buy back. He was only able to buy back 2 of them. All of them were completely in ruins or destroyed, excluding one of them, and one of them was the one he bought back.
Well, at least you're able to get them back. Or he was able to.
Oh, well, yeah, he was able to buy 2 of them back. One of them was already just ruins. The other one was actually still functioning, and he lives there with his wife and son.
At most, when it comes to ancestral land, I have a farm down in Hocking Hills, but I don't know if anyone in my distant family still owns it or if it's even in the family at all.
Yeah, I did have great uncles who fought in World War II for the U.S. though, and my mother's side of the family. I had 2 great uncles who were in the Navy.
What did they serve in the Navy?
Oh, I don't remember. All I know is that my mom told me, yeah, your great uncle John, I think it was, served in the Navy.
Now, my other great grandpa, he didn't serve in World War II, but he was in Korea.
Ooh.
I wish I got to ask more about it, but he died when I was still kind of young, so I never did.
I knew my father's mother. Her father owned a ball bearing manufactory in Schweinfurt, in Germany, and yes, it was bombed during the war.
Man, that brings a whole new meaning to watching your business go up in flames.
Yeah. And you said it was a ball bearing factory?
Yep, it was a ball bearing factory for tanks.
I can probably find a joke in there somewhere. I'd have to think about it. But no, my great grandpa, he was a certified. Pardon my French, but he was a certified badass.
Mm.
He was a combat engineer or something.
Ooh.
He fought in North Africa and up through Italy, but he went behind enemy lines. He blew up bridges. At one point, he even took a German POW as his personal aide. I'm not even kidding. He really did.
Did he give him like some kind of humiliating nickname or something?
No, so the German was trying to defect. He was like, I don't want to die for these guys. So I'll just kind of
it was a wholesome story.
It really is. And then his commanding officer found out, like, Cosner, you're going to have to send him to a camp. You know that. But he got treated well because he was my great-grandpa's aide, so all's well to end well.
Do I have to send my pet crowd to the camp?
My my mother's mother told me that when she was younger, she was a kid during the war, and she lived in Virginia, and that the German POWs would actually come to their school and basically be the lunch ladies. And she told me how when they would all go back, they would all be loaded into a truck, and they would drive them back. And my grandmother told me how her and some friends they would run behind the truck, going, "No, no, you lost."
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, that's great.
And she told me every once in a while they would be nice and buy them some ice cream.
Maybe someday we'll see Russians doing that. That'd be funny if I go into my factory one day and there's like
we'll be doing that to the Russians.
Building dryers.
Wouldn't it be better to do that with Russians? Oh, that'd be nice. Yeah, I'm a bit of an imperialist war hawk, so.
Oh, trust me, I'm a total war hawk too. Like the whole about Trump wanting to annex Canada, my thing about it is I actually do want that to happen. I just think Trump and the way he's handling it is stupid.
Yeah. Man, you know what I want? I want Manifest Destiny to be finished already. Why stop at Canada? Let's take everything. Canada, Greenland, Mexico, Cuba. We can finally retake it.
I'll go even further. We need West Alaska.
Alaska.
For those of you who don't know good geography, the easternmost part of Siberia is technically on the North American plate. Therefore, Destiny still needs manifested.
Very based. Very based indeed.
When you go so far west, you end up east again.
Yeah. What else?
Just imagine you're part of the newly formed European Unified Army, and after decades of trying to get ready, you have finally pushed Russia to the Urals after building up your military strong enough. And when you finally cross the Urals, there's just some rednecks and with American accents setting up a trailer park on the far side.
That would be very nice if the Russians didn't have that doomsday system.
Bold of you to assume it still works.
Yeah.
I know it's a gamble, but bold of you.
I'd rather not test that though. Yeah.
But if we did,
well, if we do test it and it does work, are we really being good stewards?
Well, I was going to make a inside joke between me and Clements about the map, but
the map.
The map.
No, we're not going to go into that. It takes too long.
Tobit, if you want,
I can already hear Joe right now. I know for a fact he's saying the map.
Tobit, if you want the context, wait till after the podcast, okay?
All right, cool.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up.
We should probably finish it up now.
All right, please join me in prayer in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Thank you for joining us this evening on Monarchist Minute. We hope to see you again. Same time, same place. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. If you're listening to this on Spotify or another streaming service, subscribe, follow, whatever the name of the thing is that gives you notifications and updates. And follow us on social media, whether that be Twitter, Instagram, join our Facebook group, whatever you like. Follow us on Substack too. If you want to get a hold of us, shoot us an email or message us on one of our social media platforms. We will get back to you as soon as we can. Until next time, may God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you, and good night.